Welcome to the Akatimba podcast. Here with me is Lewis and our guest of the day, Zeno. It's good to have you, sir.
Thank you.
Lewis, good to have you. So, well, the topical discussions for that day. One, we are going to discuss the Rugby World Cup Sevens in San Francisco. We discuss the Coronation Sevens, and of course, the hot topic, the Gold Cup. So let us start with Rugby World Cup Sevens. Can you summarize for us Uganda's performance at the Rugby World Cup Sevens, San Francisco?
Well, it's two-way because some commentators will say it was good. They entered the pool ranked 20th, then they left ranked 19th. So yes, an opinion would say it was a very good performance from the Rugby Cranes. Though I still believe the Cranes lost one more game they should have won, which would have sent them into 16th, 17th place ranking. The game against Chile. Then I also believe against Samoa that kind of performance wasn't deserving it. To open it up very well, the Cranes are not really a young team. They are now 3 years into a program, so they should have been showing a lot of maturity, mainly in systems of defense, controlling game time, and just opening up to the game very early. That is the first game, the Samoa game. That's what I thought they should have done. Basically, the score should never even reach the 30s, because that's the third time they're playing Samoa in 3 years. In 2 years. And in Cape Town they performed well. In Dubai they did the same. This season they never really met Samoa, so you had the feeling they had a little bit of familiarity with the Samoans. Then the 40-7 scoreline, I could not have predicted that. I thought the Cranes would pass that kind of blowout, even against the best teams. I thought, yes, the Cranes can mix it up. Then, but again, I've learned from their performance in the Commonwealth Games, the Cranes are not really a tournament team yet. Yes, and they had great names, and but still, that wouldn't dampen the whole setup. I think they tick very many boxes well. They scored very many great individual tries, but they never worked out a team try. They only scored one team try. That was against Samoa. But most of the tries of the Cranes came from scattered play, individual brilliance, player X taking the moment away from other players. Yeah, so generally that the question was, can the Cranes go one ahead of regular competition? Can they stand up against regular competition? Because you do not expect the Cranes to lose to Zimbabwe. That's a given. But you expect them to perform better against Samoa, because that is the measurement of progress. It's not the usual. Yes, that should be the measurement, and that would have been the measurement.
Okay.
Yes.
They are arguing that Tolbert has done what he can with the team. I mean, he has taken us from where we were. I think we're just a Ugandan team. We weren't even a regional continental team, and Tolbert has brought us African glory. He's taken us to the World Cup. He's taken us to Commonwealth. We played the HSBC, and people are saying, well, I think he's done all he's done, and we should be right now looking out for probably another coach. And
in the ideal world, that would be very ideal. That would be very ideal. But one, I think Uganda at the World Cup by mistake. 3 years ago, at the Olympic qualifiers for Rio 2016, Uganda finished number 5 in the qualifiers. Then that was the Africa Cup. Then a year later, they turn around and win the Africa Cup. So, what actual program did you put down in place to make sure you come from being position 5 to position number 1 on the continent?
the space of a year.
In the space of the year. When Tolbert became the national team coach, no one wanted to be the national team coach. And his first African Cup, he had a grand 2 training sessions. one which he selected the team that won the Floodlight Sevens to actually go and play in Nairobi, plus a few additions. Yeah. So what from 5th to 1st is the question no one asked. How did you become African champions? What was the systematic investment? What was the game plan? What was the quality of opposition? Did you win the cup because you're the best team, or did you win the cup because your opposition were not playing on the day?
Okay, aside from that, let us go back shortly to San Francisco, yeah? And let us not look at the team performance. Let's look at kids, like Chisiga, Oketayot, and Owora performance. Can you summarize their performance in...
I think I was very impressed most by Owora. I'm going to give my order of preference. Owora, Chisiga, Byron. Those are my top 3 performers. People will argue that, of course, Philip was good, and well, we're expecting to be at that level now, but the likes of Chisiga and Owora and Byron pushed through this whole cloud which was set by the name we already know, which is Owora. Statistically, I think Owora had the best tackling rate amongst our boys.
Yeah.
He and Byron were the best defenders we had. Chisiga is a playmaker that we need to nurture very well. So I think aside from the performance, which of course you don't want to be 19th. Even if you've been ranked 20th going in, you want to be number 1.
But it would be ambitious. It would be very ambitious.
But if it happened, who wouldn't laugh it?
Well, I think I wasn't born dreaming. There had to be a process for me to be born. So that's how I believe things work. It's procedural. So yes, I expected better than 19th. Though, back to the player base, Philip Okoraч I think is overrated. Yes, he delivers, and he was among the best 3 top try scorers in San Francisco. And he could have been the top try scorer if he hadn't just chosen to
give help,
to help his friends out. Although everyone is talking about statistics, but I think to me the player I most appreciate, and the player people will never watch. If you ask me to write down a team, the first name that would always be on my list would be James Odong. To me, whenever I'm looking at Ugandan wingers, the greatest will always be James Odong, and
he ranks 4th on my performance from America.
You see, for me, the statistics will never tell the full story. James attends more racks. James does his set piece work very well. James is steady under the high ball. James doesn't panic under pressure. James scores. Yeah. You see, if we're going by the law of averages, if we're going by the law of averages, I think James Odong would be the best player in the current setup right now, and I think he's the most technically and tactically astute player Uganda's produced.
He's well-rounded.
He's a very well-rounded player, and I've been around, not as much as certain people, but I haven't yet seen a player like him come through the system. A player in defense, a player in offense, a player in the game, out of the game, the player who is not on the ball, a player who goes forward, the player who knows that a centimeter is better than a centimeter back, a meter back.
Let us talk shortly about our neighbors, Kenya. What went wrong? What happened?
I don't like speaking for the Kenyans because generally I don't like them. But I'm Ugandan. It's normal. It's like him. You don't expect him to like someone from Namilyango. It's normal. So I think the Kenyans were affected mainly by the boardroom. 3 weeks to the World Cup, the coach is fired, the coach is hired, the players have resigned. If you're going to win a World Cup, you win it out off the pitch, then you bring it to the pitch. That is what I believe. But I do not know how others think about it. But I don't think good players make a team. I think the whole pot must be well steered. It's like a meal. Everything has to mix and match at the right time, the right salt, the right we seem to forget that it's now a profession. It's not pleasure at the park. If you have 100,000 people paying for tickets, it's a profession, and you're flying people across the globe. You have to give them common courtesy. That is one thing the Kenyans fail to do, and I'm very glad they paid dearly. Though I'm very sad now they have to play in the African qualifiers because
yes, actually yes, I had that argument with you on Twitter about them dropping to the Africa Cup qualifiers.
Yes, because you're left with 2 slots, and of course Kenya with their massive history and infrastructure will definitely take the other slot. So you're left with Zimbabwe, who are really playing a good job of catching up. And also the North Africans, who seem to have rejuvenated their interest of rugby. So it becomes a very tricky World Cup qualifiers, where you could be back to the Olympic qualifier where you finished 5th.
So you're saying we shall finish 5th again before the 2020 Olympics?
You could even finish 8th. But 7th is a game of, it's a dice. It's a one roll and you go. It's complacency. You see, every good administrator builds on success. Yeah, but unfortunately here you have Philip Okorachi. He's a very special player. The golden goose. He's a black swan. But like I've always argued, whenever Uganda appear at the World Series, is take out Philip, then the team fails to score, like they showed us in Cape Town.
Yeah, he was injured then, I remember.
Then bring back Philip. Then Nokia is the top scorer. Because Philip can drive away 3 defenders. Yes. So anyone who knows how to feed off it. So yes, if Philip is still in his prime, in the next 3 years we'll be back at the World Cup.
Okay.
If it dips, we're out.
Let us talk about Coronation Sevens. Over the weekend. We see Pirates deep in form when their stars are out. Chisiga, Desire Yera and Magom. They come back from San Francisco and boom, Pirates win the Coronation Sevens. What do you think is the impact of these players on Pirates and I mean they're on their way to winning the first ever treble?
Well, okay, first, putting it that way is also unfair. Emanzi, Massa, and who else? I think
Haruna.
Haruna. Okay, Haruna is injured. Massa and Emanzi and not Baron. We're out also in Barra. The way for the World University Games
In Namibia.
Yes.
So same applies to Rujumba. He was in Namibia.
In Namibia, that makes 6 players from the starting lineup out. So even if you're a great team, you can't match it up.
6 out of 12.
6 out of 12. 6 out of your starting lineup, including Haruna, who was injured. So Pirates had to switch a whole starting lineup and still be expected to reach the final. And well, with all due credit, they reached the semi-final.
They did for the Rujumba
Cup.
With
with Massa and Emanzi back. Yes.
You see, but in Mbara they still reached the semi-final with almost everyone of their with the first 7 out. It would be a testament to how good Pirates have evolved as a team. Unfortunately, everyone saw that, oh no, these guys can't play without stars. I think if it had happened to any other team, they would have not left the group stages.
They would have scored a single point in that series.
Let's go.
No, because me, I was very impressed with what I thought was the most important outing for Uganda this time. That was the World University Games.
Okay.
And managing to finish 6th out of 14. There were 17 teams.
There's a team which didn't make it, I think.
No, I think 16.
Should be 16.
Yeah, managing at your first appearance at the World University Games and you managed to finish 6th. I think that was the real credit to me because that was the team that knew the business. But back to the Coronation Sevens. Of course, with all the firepower, I thought it was obvious who was going to win. And I joined the game at the quarterfinal. Though for me, the Pirates' mistake is this: unless Emanzi leaves the setup of Pirates, he's not going to become a better player than he is now. And I know it's
why.
I think we haven't seen Emanzi on the scoreboard, and I think it's affecting his confidence. and they toss him around. They could throw him in the middle, they could throw him out wide. So they are not letting him settle because, well, the preference now is for the golden kid Chisiga. Then Baron is a proven scorer. Then of course Magomo is already decided in the hierarchy.
Massa.
Then there is Massa. Everyone has a set position. But then somehow they will always have to fit a Manzi into the starting lineup. So they are kind of trying to toss. They're trying to make him the peg in a hole, in a round hole. Fencing pole, peg in a fencing pole. So he's not really getting into it. So I think the solution would be to get him out of the setup. Though I know it's very hard. The team are winning, and these are your boys. You've grown up around them. But I think for Manzi to progress, it's about time he left Pirates, because there are very many parts of his game that people ignore because he's part of a dominant team. Like his reception under high ball, I still find it a little bit lacking. His habits at contacts.
Where would you recommend him to go? To Heathens? Because Heathens are now playing like last week. I told someone that Heathens are now in the leagues of Warriors, Rams.
That would be unfair to Heathens. With all due respect,
they are playing poorly, but they're not.
No.
Okay, gentlemen, let me cut
I think
short.
he would be good if he joined the Corps or even the Rhinos.
Me and Rhinos have a very, very sketchy relationship. I consider they are set up a whole vacation.
Yes, it is, but they finished second in the league. That's a very long vacation.
That's really it. So
remember, it's 18 games.
let me take you through the press search today. Yeah, the team was announced.
Team for Gold Cup.
Magom is out, but he came from San Francisco. He played for Pirates at the Coronation Sevens, even after the coach had apparently instructed them not to play. What's your take on that?
Actually, I think Zeno and I have had this conversation before of Magom and his head. We all know he's a very good player, but around 2 years ago, very many people were resigned to ever seeing him on national team. Why? Because of his head. He makes decisions for only Magom. There are times he makes them for only Magom, yet it's a team sport. You're supposed to make decisions for me and the other 22 players. So if the coach tells you that I need you well conditioned, there are people who didn't go to San Francisco in the national team camp for the 15s. They are resting out these 7s. You who made this trip are jet lagged and need the rest more, but you decide to play. I think the coach is right to set a stand and put their foot hard on the ground, and it's like, you know what, you did obey this order, and it's as simple as I can't trust you to obey any of to put in place any of the strategies we've been planning. So I can't play you now. Maybe you need more time to get your issues together. And I would side with the coach on this one, very much so. I love Magom, as in he's a very good player and he's my personal friend.
No, you don't need to be defensive. The real question is, why did Pirates allow him to play?
Are you saying that he's bigger than that team?
Yes, the real question is, if Pirates knew there was going to be a conflict of interest, why did they allow him to play?
So he's bigger than that team.
Which team?
Pirates.
You see,
that's
a real question. I really wanted to ask.
Question to put down. Yeah, that's very true. But speaking of Gold Cup, yeah, Uganda, we've lost 2 games straight.
Yeah,
we are bottom of the log, 0 points.
No, that's okay.
What's next for us? I mean, we are hosting 3 games now in a row. This weekend, Tunisia, Morocco, and then Zimbabwe
on the 18th.
Yes. What do you think our chances?
Let's look at this game. I was on my way here, then on one of the forums on WhatsApp I saw the team line out, and I was quite impressed. It's just a lecture in stupidity. No offense to anyone, but the Magomo issue aside, you start from number 1 to number 2 to number 3. Chivumbi has been resting the whole week, not training because of a back injury, and yet he's somehow starting.
It is Sekate.
Chivumbi, then Sekate. Sekate is number 2, Chivumbi number 1, Owora number 3. I've always had problems with the captaincy, and I've never shied away from saying that could probably be the worst captain to ever be in the Cranes setup.
Suma.
As a person, well, now when I say it, I cannot hide them. I cannot say no offense, so don't take it personally. No, I've said it, so he's going to take it personally. But I think it's the worst. But again, that's not his problem that he's captain. He was appointed captain.
He didn't ask for it.
He didn't ask for it. Then also, I think Justin is the worst assistant captain.
So in other words, they would have turned it down.
The Cranes are built to lose this season. It's very hard to not see it as that way. Because for once, you have a starting 8 and there's no specialist line-out leader. Uhuru, who is supposed to lead Uganda's line-out, always plays second jumper, even at club level. Because they use Diego. Yes. Yes. Now, every time Uhuru goes in to be the number 1 jumper, he fails. Then Aziku is supposed to be his assistant. He's not really an option at Rhinos on the line-out.
There's Arthur Mpanda, I think.
Then there's Matthias Ocho. Then there's Byron Oketayot. Yeah. So now that's supposed to be your most important set piece. Like the Kenyan game showed you, you picked 2 line-outs the whole game. Yeah. I thought maybe someone would have said, okay, this is the time you introduce Simon Olet, specifically for one reason, the line-out. Yeah, because it's going to be a very critical part of this game, and you cannot go into the game without someone who can take your line out. Uhuru can jump. I'm not taking it against him, but he is not the leader of the line out. He can't lead the line out. He's not Marvin. You know, line out is about calls, structuring your calls, knowing which call to make, which time, taking the pressure off the whole line. Can your flyer stand there, not even worried about the line out, already planning his move?
Planning the attack.
Yes, but in this case, if I fly up and I have Uhuru, I would plan the 2-way. Let's just be steep. In case it comes well and good. If in case it fails, we realign fast for defense.
The flyer we have this weekend is Masendi.
We're still discussing the pack.
Together.
Yes.
Now,
Masendi. They'll play together.
Then you have 3 back rows who are lumberjacks. They move too slow.
Brian Emong. Who is the other one? I'm forgetting.
And Oketayot.
Byron Oketayot.
Now Oketayot is not a 15-a-side player, because in a 7-a-side game you need 3 things. You can handle your contact, you can handle your man, and you can handle your space. 15 is like playing a full game of chess. Once the first move moves, there are too many pieces moving around. You don't even know where you'll be in the next second. And the thing about it is, I have not seen, the last 2 years I've watched a lot of rugby because I haven't been able to play it. I haven't seen Byron move shoulder coast to coast on behalf of his team. Asaba, it's understandable. He's picked up a few knocks here and there. But I do not expect him to be the workhorse. If he's near a rock, he will cause trouble. If he's far from a rock, he's safe. He's never been athletic anyway. Yeah, but he can. This is the kind of game where you lose forwards are very critical. Then as for Monk, we'll just leave it at that.
Why? You just can't leave it, because
if Monk was starting at 5, I would have understood. But at 8,
Duncan defended that call and said, I can quote, he has played in this position at Cabras over and over, played it very well, and I think his deployment here will be a good decision. Okay,
I can send a shout out to Duncan that I also played fly up at school. Why not? Why not? Why not?
So,
your condition is supported by fly.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. I played fly up at school in an inter-house game.
Let us discuss Tunisia Saturday.
Okay, still going to the back line. I think Okudi was the wrong call. Okay. At 10. I don't care the Magom issue. I think you'd have discussed with Ijongat. You could have discussed with Opa, who was on training. And he has the experience. He's been here before. And he's still showing the willingness to play. You could have picked a fan. But still they chose Okudi. But
which fan do you have in mind? You could be having an idea. And you want another shout out.
Okudi, I think the last time he's played in the Cranes jersey, he's shown a lack of confidence, and I think he's very scared of the assistant coach.
Sebuya.
Yes, and he shows it all the time. And okay, well, this is Tunisia, as people think. Then, of course, the centers, the continued experiment of Pius. Then, of course, Wokorach, and then the usual cast go out wide.
Chimono and Odong on either wings.
Yeah, and when's the last time Chimono actually scored for the Cranes?
Yeah, very good question.
Should
Should have to ask
question. That's a very good question.
That's
Well,
Chimono.
Tunisia is a better side than they were last year, ideally. And from your assessment of the team, well, I want to ask, what are our chances on Saturday, in your opinion?
I think Tunisia last year were bereft of administrative injustices, which we shouldn't take for granted, because according to the Tunisia camp, there was a lot of player strike. Uganda and Tunisia played twice, and on both occasions, it's a 50-50. It's been a blowout. The last time Tunisia played Uganda was striking, so Tunisia matched them. This time round, Tunisia was striking, so Uganda matched them. So I'm going into this game. Tunisia have won a game, and they've lost a game heavily in Namibia.
118. That was very, very shaming.
But then the North Africans have a habit in sport where if they know they're not going to win, they send whoever is available. Go represent. In football, I've seen it almost in every sport. If they know they're not going to win there, they would rather send someone to pick experience than to try to salvage nothing. Because even the way they stayed in the Gold Cup was by sending what they call their real team to Zimbabwe to pick the points and fly back to Tunisia. And that was enough. Yeah, because I think they picked 2 wins last year, Senegal and Tunisia. And they did it by making sure they've taken care of business. And the business being they've taken care of losing to Uganda, Kenya,
and Namibia.
And Namibia, that one is okay.
It is allowed.
Now I think this year Tunisia smell blood. They think, okay, maybe. Not that I'm giving them a huge chance, but they have a confident feeling of maybe we can pick it in Kampala. Because the North African Union is running differently from ours, because they run a joint union with Algeria and Morocco. Now there's no mistake that the country that is being promoted this year to Tier 1A is actually Algeria. And in December they play their Maghreb Cup. So maybe, just maybe, they are not yet ready to let Morocco go. Yeah, you have to know that they can play the long game. Tunisia has played at 2 Sevens World Cups. Uganda has played at 1.
So this one was our first.
Yeah. So maybe they have the long game. Maybe they don't. Yeah. This is a game I can't tell you straight up. It's not like the Zimbabwe game where I know Zimbabwe are going to come here, pick points, go home. This is a game where the Cranes just have not to take. They just don't have to take. The players don't have to play to the crowd. They have to play the game the way they've been told to play it. Because I think this team is too much under pressure. Too much. The national team who are not supported at home. You know, it's a very bad feeling to be in that setup right now, where you're like pariah. You're trying to do the right thing, but the support system around you is chaining you in. Almost every news that comes out of camp is critical rather than uplifting to the team. You know, including me, we are very critical of the Crane setup and how they are working, which is quite hard when you're actually the one supposed to play the game.
True. It's very easy being a fan.
Yes, it is. And critique, it's very easy. And it's very hard for a player to understand why I would criticize him, because things I've played this game, I should be able to be in his shoes before. And me, honestly, you're there, I'm here, so I earn the right to. I mean, I pay for my tickets. I earn the right to tell you what I feel like telling you.
Okay, just in a minute, yeah? I'm going to take your predictions. What's your prediction?
Uganda is going to win, but it's going to be 30-something to like 11.
30-something.
30-something.
But Samuju, when's the last time Uganda scored 30 points in a competitive game?
Let's see.
Well, that's his prediction. I mean, we
you
can
see,
also go up to 50.
Like the Uganda-Kenya game, I've always said it this way. In the last 7 years, Kenya have managed to score 30 points.
True.
Yes, against Uganda, averaging. So the point is, Kenya are going to score 30. Can Uganda score more?
Uganda match.
Can Uganda match the 30? Then start reducing.
One thing
on
for
the
sure
30.
is we have to win, and by bonus points at least.
You see, that is the
Because-
easy part. You have to win.
Yes.
That is the easy part. The real part is
Are we going
Tunisia, a
to...
mysterious entity. I do not know who is going to turn up on Saturday.
Okay, what's your prediction?
The team should be announced by this evening because
The Tunisian team?
yeah,
Yeah.
because this morning it was confirmed that they would be in the country by 3. And I think it should be 3 or something.
Are they sleeping on the street?
Hello, what's
It wouldn't hurt for them to sleep on the street.
so what's your prediction for Saturday?
I think the Cranes, the last time I actually called the Cranes winning, they lost. That was against Kenya. Open Cup.
Please don't jinx us.
Yeah, the last time I called them to win, they
Okay,
lost.
okay.
Then when I said they would lose by 45 points in Namibia, they actually did better. They lost by 49. It's a very tricky one for me because I do not know which Tunisian side is going to turn up.
Okay.
It's not like Zimbabwe who are consistent. So all stars aligned. I think the Cranes have just done enough to win this game. But if they lost, I wouldn't beat myself up. But I think on paper they've done enough to win.
Okay.
Given the circumstances they've had to face and how they've lined up and the mix and match and here and there and the lack of respect for the jersey, and I think the Cranes have just done enough to win.
Okay.
And if they don't win this one, it is really bad for them.
All right.
So you actually do see us going back to the second tier.
That wouldn't be the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is you going back to the second tier and then you remain with Sebi as coach.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Thank you so much for coming. Until next time. Please, thank you. Please do follow us on Katimba Sports, Kratos Sports, on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can as well check out our website. Thank you so much. Till next time.
Zeno.
Switch off the camera.
You and Seguya.
No, I don't think Sebi.